Yo, what's going on, y'all? It's Combo Breaker 99. I am back with another video. All right, y'all, back with this real quick video here. I just want to give you my thoughts on a recent interview with Jessica Andrade, leading up to her fight this Saturday, UFC 266 with Cynthia Calvillo. She went into some different things about Calvillo's approach in the fight and some of the things Cynthia Calvillo said. But one of the things that just kind of caught my ear was whenever she was talking about the Valentina Shevchenko fight. And I was just looking at this article, too, because, they wrote it text for text, and I heard the interview. But one of the things that Valentina Shevchenko said about one of the things that Jessica Andrade said about the Shevchenko fight was that she was pretty surprised and thrown off that Valentina Shevchenko took her down. It confused her when Valentina Shevchenko took her down and wanted to grapple with her. So that kind of opens your eyes a lot about her way of thinking and what her team is, putting her head into a fight. And it also kind of makes you question her grappling as well, because if a fighter chose to grapple her and that was her game plan to grapple, and you feel like your grappling is better than Shevchenko, that means you should be able to out grapple the striker. You know what I mean? Which I'll talk about here in a minute, but I just want to read what she said here. So Jessica Andrade said, "I was somewhat surprised when I faced Valentina. We put together a strategy for her, but she brought a different game. After she took me down, I found myself in the place I plan to have her. That's my game. It's what I do in my fights. It confused me that she took me down in my style since she's such a good striker, but each fight is unique." And this is where, let me see, this is also what else she had to say. "Someone has to win and someone has to lose. It wasn't my day. With a rematch, I'm very confident I'll be ready for everything. Takedowns and striking. I feel if she had chosen to use her boxing or Muay Thai, I would have done a lot better." Okay, so it's one of those if things. I mean, she's not making excuses, but, whenever somebody says if that person chose to do this, they would have done a lot better. Well, that just goes to show you that you have to be prepared for everything. And that just goes to show you that Valentina Shevchenko is a well-rounded fighter. Again, you have to give her so much credit that she's a well-rounded fighter here, because Jessica Andrade came for one thing, and she was introduced to a whole different thing. Her whole world was shook up, which she shouldn't have been introduced to, because she should know that Jessica Andrade should know that Valentina Shevchenko is a solid grappler. I mean, if she looks at some of her fights in the past, if they really studied her, they should know that that's in her tool belt. She can pretty much do whatever she wants. It's on you to go in there and try to offset Valentina and find little kinks throughout tapes, and try to go into a fight and be a thinking fighter and compute things like that. You know what I mean? Because for Andrade to say, okay, we weren't prepared here. I wasn't prepared for that, and I came up with a game plan. That's the wrong approach already. You should never really have a game plan going into these championship fights with well-rounded fighters, because you never know what that fighter's going to do. I always have to bring up Floyd Mayweather. Like, certain things, okay, we know Floyd has certain weaknesses if you have a certain type of style, but you never know what he's going to bring to the table. He could box on his back foot. He can come forward. He can walk you down. He can fight you on the inside a little bit. Floyd can do a little bit of everything, but it all comes down to using his smarts, and how to kind of compute what you do and what you do wrong. So that should have been Jessica Andrade's approach going into this fight. Now, I know you're going to say, oh, she doesn't have that IQ. Well, that was on her to build it up throughout the years before going into a fight with the champion like that, because somebody like Andrade throughout her years should know that, again, a game plan is not really going to work because Valentina has so many other tools. It's on you to just be able to adjust to whatever she's doing or adapt to it, or you dictate the pace and take her out of her rhythm. It's not really a strategy to go in there and say, okay, I know she's a striker, so we're going to approach her as a grappler. No, like, if she's approaching it as a grappler, then you have to turn into a striker at that moment. And if she comes in, then you got to be able to counterpunch and use an angle. You know what I mean? You got to be able to use angles. So you should be prepared for everything. That's what it all comes down to. Because, Shevchenko, she didn't have a game plan. She chose to grapple that night. A lot of us, and like Valentina Shevchenko addressed, she said that a lot of people thought she was going to go in there and just pick her apart, which is a solid game plan, but it might have taken longer, but this actual game plan of, just switching on the fly and shocking everybody, it shocked Andrade. It got the results she needed in a matter of a round and a half, right? You know what I mean? So that was kind of, that was a great thing on her part, you know what I mean, to just kind of switch it up, because she didn't know that Jessica Andrade was going to be thinking like the fans, right? Jessica Andrade was kind of thinking like a fan here, thinking that Valentina Shevchenko was going to bring one type of game plan, and that was just striking. She's never really done that in the past. She'll inside fight, she'll slam you, she'll take you down, she'll take you off your feet, she'll control you on the ground. So I don't know where this came from that they thought it was just going to be a boxing match or Muay Thai. And even if it was a boxing match Muay Thai, it was just like, you got to be prepared for more than just grappling. And again, that kind of shows you Andrade's IQ. Like, I give credit for Andrade as a powerful, athletic fighter, but that shows you her IQ. That as soon as Shevchenko brought one thing, the computer overloaded. Basically, the computer overloaded. Like, whenever Shevchenko switched to a grappler and started taking her down, all in the first round, her whole computer just overloaded. Like, they didn't know what to switch to. They didn't know what game plan to go to. It was like, oh no, we gotta abort. You know what I mean? We have to abort. Shevchenko's grappling with. We didn't know that was gonna happen. See, they didn't go in there with all these other possibilities. So thinking like the fans here, that's not gonna work. You can't think like a fan and say, okay, Shevchenko's just a striker. No, we gotta remember she's a well-rounded fighter. Look at the fights at 135. Holly Holm, Juliana Pena, to come back from that, taking her down and submitting her, taking Holly Holm off her feet, taking Joanna off her feet, slamming Caitlin Kagan the way she did, taking Jennifer Maya down. That's a lot of good examples of grappling and physical strength there. That's why when somebody asked me who was stronger, Andrade or Shevchenko, leading up to their fight, I said Shevchenko, because she's shown you time and time again, like, she's just not a strong puncher, you know what I mean? Like, just controlling the stand up with, good stiff shots. She's very strong. You can't just pick her up. You just can't pick her up. And I will say this now that I remember about picking her up, like, you can tell, like, Andrade's plan was out the door, because whenever she tried to go for that slam, as Valentina's back was to the cage, and you know how she'll like slide down the leg, and she'll grab that leg and try to pick a fighter up, and you can see Andrade, like, those little jolts, like, she try to pick her up, and Shevchenko would not budge. Every time she would try, like, 1, 2, and she wouldn't budge. You could tell right there that the game plan was not executed, and then it was done from there. Shevchenko was in full control. So yeah, man. I just think that moving forward for Andrade, she has to understand that. I mean, every fight is going to be different, and just because of what you've seen from the outside looking in, like with the Shevchenko, and this is what she's known for, you always have to think out of the box. You always got to think out of the box, prepare for everything, because we know Andrade for several different things. You know what I mean? We can always pinpoint them, and that's what Shevchenko did. They knew that this is what she was going to do, so because she is that type of predictable fighter. But if you look on the other side, Shevchenko, she's never that type of predictable fighter. That's why it's hard to find keys to victory on beating her. So she has to become that type of fighter like Shevchenko. Like, not the same type of style, but she needs to be more of an unpredictable, well-rounded fighter. So moving forward in the future, she won't have to rely on game plans, or somebody decides to shock her like Shevchenko did. She'll be prepared to adjust on the fly. And again, like, let me bring up the grappling thing though. Like, so with Jessica Andrade saying she wasn't prepared to grapple with a grappler, that kind of lets you know that, oh wow, Shevchenko's grappling is better than Andrade's. You know what I mean? Because if she came to grapple a striker, she thought she was just going to have to go through the motions and just, take her down and smother her and maul her and maybe eventually submit Shevchenko, right? But the minute Shevchenko turned on her grappling, she was actually taking her to school, and Andrade didn't even know how to grapple with the grappler. So I'm just like, wow, like, whoa, like, what did y'all prepare for? You know what I mean? So for her to say, like, when Valentina went full grappler mode, that should have made it easier for her, right? Like, because they were both on the ground, and that should have made it easier for her to showcase how better of a grappler she is. So she should have won technically, right? But that just showed you that, no, Shevchenko was a much better grappler. That was the thing. Like, when she took her down, she was shocked. But after that, she didn't know how to grapple with her because of the positions that Shevchenko had her in. She didn't know how to handle them, because there were a couple, like, where, Shevchenko had that diagonal position on her back, and Andrade tried to turn, and because she was in such a, like, offset, crooked position, so when she went to turn, she had no choice but to fall because she had no balance. So boom, that led to another takedown for Shevchenko. So that was just some very intelligent grappling by Shevchenko, and that showed you that Andrade's grappling was just prepared for the striker in Valentina Shevchenko. She wasn't prepared to handle a grappler, which is wow, that's an eye opener, very big eye opener, man. So yeah, I just kind of wanted to go back and talk about that. Maybe I'll do some more videos talking about some other interviews here with Calvillo as well, because fight week. This is fight week, and fight night is 2 nights away. So I'll probably drop a couple more, maybe do a live stream tonight. We'll talk more tomorrow for sure on Friday. But yeah, man, guys, let me know in the comment section what y'all thought of what Andrade said. Again, man, she just said she didn't know that Valentina was going to grapple with her. She was shocked. The fans, we should be shocked. We should be the ones that are shocked because of the way she just did it and, scored 100%, takedown percentage. We should be kind of shocked and, in awe, not the fighter there. Andrade should have been like, oh, she want to grapple? Let me take it to her, but Andrade got confused, man. I mean, let's be real. Like, that first round, takedown after takedown, she just was, like, lost. She was just lost, and I think everything she said pretty much covered how she felt that night, right? So, yeah, guys, let me know in the comment section, what do you do, man? Like, what do you do from here for, like, a Jessica Andrade? Like, she did mention a rematch. Do you think she has enough time to evolve and change as a fighter and be prepared to grapple and be prepared for the takedowns and the striking? I mean, if you're a well-rounded fighter and if you are a grappler, you should have been prepared for the takedowns the first time, right? You should have been prepared for the takedowns the first time because that could have been anybody, basically, right? Really. So let me know in the comment section, guys. Shevchenko, I think we can safely say she is one of the best fighters in MMA. And yeah, Andrade, I don't know if much would change in the rematch. What do you guys think? Is that really a good explanation for you guys? Like, if Valentina turned into a grappler, Andrade should have been able to handle the grappler, right? Combo Breaker 99. I'm out. Subscribe. Peace.